That investigation is now complete. The central findings of the investigation are that the man whose voice is heard on the recording and on a second recording from the same conversation that was released on Sunday, accordingly, effective immediately,
That's all it took. One sentence, and just like that, Brittney Griner, one of the most recognizable names in the WNBA, is gone. Not suspended, not fined. Banned for life. Adam Silver dropped the mic in the most incendiary news conference we've seen in years. And admirers are questioning, what the hell happened? Did Griner rig games? Was she pulling strings with refs? Or is this something deeper? Something the league doesn't want you to know? Because the more you dig, the dirtier it gets. Scandal, audio leaks, secret testimonies, even speculations regarding her identity. You best buckle up. We're breaking it all down. All right, let's start with how this whole thing exploded. Adam Silver walks into an emergency press conference and just drops a bomb. Effective immediately, Brittney Griner is banned from the WNBA for life. No build-up, no warm-up, just pure fire. You could hear the mouths hit the floor. Griner wasn't just a player. She was the face of the league for years. Olympic gold medals, All-Star games, international attention. She's done it all. And now she's erased. But Silver wasn't fooling around. He said the league conducted a deep internal investigation, and what they found was too big to ignore. Several rule infractions, off-seat court drama, and worse, suspected involvement in a full-blown corruption case. He remarked, and I quote, "There is no place in basketball for actions that compromise the integrity of the game." Who? So what precisely did they find? What went so wrong that Silver had a hand down the toughest punishment possible? Let's go into it. Because it wasn't just one mistake, it was a mountain of red flags that ultimately toppled. Before we rip anything apart, let's remember who we're talking about. Brittney Griner was in the WNBA. She was a dunking, shot-blocking crowd favorite. A two-time Olympic champion, a walking billboard for women's basketball. You'd see her in Nike advertisements, hosting camps, promoting Team USA. She was everywhere. And now she's out. No farewell tour, no warning, just blacklisted. So, how do you go from being the league's poster child to being completely cut off? Turns out this wasn't just about what she did recently. There were whispers going around for a long. Locker room drama, trouble with teammates, stories of her clashing with refs. And then things started building up. Skipping team protocols, questionable off-seat court behavior, and suddenly people in the league weren't so quiet anymore. But the league ignored it for a while. Why? Because Griner brought eyeballs. She sold tickets until the headlines got too loud and Silver decided it was time to sever the cord. Just like that, the league turned the page on one of its brightest talents. Crazy, right? But we're just getting started. Here's where things get extremely messy. This isn't just a drama story. This is a full-on corruption scandal. According to league insiders, Griner was allegedly related to initiatives that tampered with actual games. Yeah, manipulating matchups, influencing refs, swinging momentum when it counted most. How? Well, perhaps she had more pull behind the scenes than we believed. Whispers about her communicating to refs or influencing the ambience in the locker room were only the beginning. But when playoff races grew tight and games started seeming a touch too contrived, the red flags started waving. Silver brought in investigators, and that's when it all came crashing down. Officials suspended, execs sacked, and Brittney's name was supposedly all over the place. Texts, emails, recordings. This wasn't just attitude or ego. This was about controlling outcomes. You mess with the competition, you screw with the whole league. And Silver wasn't about to let that slide. Let me ask you, do you think a player should ever have that kind of influence? Because if even half of this is accurate, it changes everything we thought we understood about WNBA integrity. So, here's a big question. If all this was going on, where the hell was the commissioner? Kathy Angelbert was supposed to keep the league clean, right? Instead, she's right in the thick of this catastrophe. According to insiders, Angelbert had knowledge of the drama long before Silver stepped in. There were warnings, emails, silent protests from athletes. And what did she do? Apparently nothing. Some think she sought to protect the WNBA's image. Others believe she just didn't want to go up against Griner. Either way, her silence made everything worse. Now she's under internal scrutiny. Fans are clamoring for her resignation. And Silver's crew, they've taken over the disciplinary procedure. That's how bad it got. It's not just about one player. The scandal revealed a system that allowed this kind of stuff to thrive unfettered. What happens when the commissioner prioritizes PR over accountability? You receive this. You get anarchy. And now the league is trying to clean up a situation it helped create. This whole thing might have kept concealed if it weren't for a few bold players who declared enough is enough. Names started appearing. Big names. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham. These aren't role players. These are future leaders of the league. They apparently provided closed-door interviews to league investigators, and what they disclosed straight up stunning. They talked about games where the refs seemed off, and calls unexpectedly swung momentum, and Gurrier's team earned questionable benefits. But it wasn't just vibrations, they had receipts. Word is league officials played audio clips in those sessions. One purportedly had Gurrier talking to refs about pressure points and matchups. You know what that means. She wasn't just talking trash. She was strategizing off the court. And when Clark and others started pointing fingers, the league could no longer protect her. That's what forced Silver's hand. Now ask yourself if Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham had stayed silent. Would this ban have ever happened? Or would the league still be covering for its star? That's the scariest part of all. You actually expected she'd be quiet? Not a chance. The second the ban hit the press, Gurrier's staff snapped into action. We're talking lawyers, PR reps, media contacts, full-blown defense mode. According to insiders, her lawyers are prepping an appeal, and they're not holding back. They're calling this move unreasonable, exorbitant, and politically motivated. They're even threatening to take it to court, requesting full access to all investigation data, including the hidden recordings. Now, here's the wild bit. They're claiming Gurrier is being used as a distraction, that the league is panicking because of deeper scandals, and Gurrier just became the sacrifice. Her camp argues she was targeted for being vocal, for challenging league leadership, and for being too influential in the locker room. Whether that's true or not, one thing's apparent. This isn't ending with a news conference. It's heading toward a public conflict. And if it goes to court, a whole lot more dirt could spill out. So we got to ask, is Gurrier being framed to protect bigger names? Or is this the last act of someone who finally got caught? And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, along comes the gender bombshell. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's controversial. But it's everywhere now. Rumors that have been circling quietly for years suddenly exploded. Is Brittney Griner biologically male? Now listen, we're not here to play doctor, but sources claim there are paperwork, medical records, and league memoranda that imply the WNBA may have known and kept everything under wraps. Why? Because Gurrier was the WNBA's brand. She dunked. She dominated. She sold tickets. And if that story ever cracked, the league may have imploded. But now with her band, it's all rising to the surface. Some insiders think this whole issue isn't just about fixing games. It's about hiding something bigger. If the league did cover it up, that's a severe breach of competition fairness, potentially even Title IX. So, is the ban about integrity, or is it about keeping secrets from exploding in public? We don't have the full truth yet, but one question alone has already converted fans, players, and even sponsors into skeptics. Let's zoom out. This isn't just about one player anymore. This is about a league on the edge. Sponsors are terrified. TV networks are re-evaluating arrangements. Fans, they don't know who or what to believe anymore. Because when your biggest star gets banned for corruption, and then speculations about secret gender identities come tumbling in, you lose control of the story. And that's exactly what's happening to the WNBA. Rookies like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese came in full of energy and hope. But now they're caught in a league that feels more like a soap opera than a sport. And what about future talent? You think parents want to throw their girls into this chaos? Not a chance. So here we are. The league is shaken. A legend is forbidden. And the fact, it still feels like we're only seeing part of the picture. This was meant to be a golden age for the WNBA. New fans, rising stars filled arenas, but instead we got corruption, cover-ups, and turmoil. Now the whole basketball world is watching. What will Adam Silver do next? Will more players be exposed? Will Brittney Griner strike back and blast the doors off everything the league's been hiding? And what about the players left behind? Are they safe from retaliation if they speak up? One thing's for sure, this story isn't over. So, we'll keep asking the questions they won't. And we want to hear from you. Was the prohibition justified? Is the league being honest? Or is this really a greater cover-up that eventually cracked wide open? Drop your opinions in the comments. And if you want the truth, not the PR spin, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell.